And all right, what's going on, everybody? Derek here, and this is part 3 of the best video game finds we've ever had. We have Rob and Television Dude,
Yeah.
and we have my fellow podcast member Tyler, CobraDVS.
And if you want to watch part 1, you can go to my channel. If you want
Part 2's on my
part...
channel.
Yeah, and part 3 is going to be mine and pretty much all the
miscellaneous
stuff that's still really good, but it's not like front page. So,
but I still got some great stuff to talk about.
Oh, definitely. So, I'm just gonna go in order. The first one, and then the one that happened recently. So, the first one, and I wish I had the pictures for this. God, I so badly wish I had the email because I still remember what the picture looked like. I still remember the ad. It was on Craigslist, and the ad said like Sega stuff. That was it. The description was like bunch of Sega stuff, and I was like, "What the hell, right? What could have hurt to send him a message?" So I sent him an email or whatever, and I'm like, do you happen to have any pictures of anything? And he's like, "Yeah, give me a minute." He takes one picture of everything. I can't hardly make out anything, but literally on the table, right up front, is a mint complete copy of Spider-Man Web of Fire on 32X. And I'm like, "Oh my god, I don't care what the rest of the games are. What the hell does he want?" So he wouldn't give me a price over the phone, but he said, you should come look at it or whatever. And I'm like, all right. Dude, I thought I was going to get killed. This guy lived down a dirt road, like 3 miles in the woods, in a secluded house with his mother, who's like 90, and he's like 60. So we get there. My grandma was with me because I couldn't drive. And, which, by the way, literally in this case, I had no money. $0 to my name. No money for this at all.
This is becoming a running story here about no money.
Yeah, well, you're about to hear it. You're gonna hear it again. So anyway, so I get out the car and he's standing outside. Really, really nice guy, but he's like, "All right, let's go out into my shed. Make sure you lock the door behind you." And I'm like, I was like, this is where I'm about. He's literally about to kill me. I seriously was like, maybe I should run. I don't like, but I was thinking about, I was like, I think I'm really willing to die for this deal right now if it turns out to be fake. I think I'm willing to risk it.
Could you just hold this machete and bottle of KY jelly?
There ain't nothing wrong with a little machete fighting. The wrong deal died.
Anyway,
so we go out in his garage or shed, and I lock the door, whatever, and he's just got it all. He had everything hooked up to show me that it works. So I was like, okay, whatever. But I'll never forget. We walked in. Are y'all all right?
I'm still laughing about the deal died thing. Sorry.
Can we get some composure on this show, please?
Yeah, sorry. I know it's a professional production.
Oh yeah, very.
Not usually like that.
Very, very high professionalism here on the Derek Holmes channel. So he has it all hooked up, and I remember he had Lethal Enforcers in for the Genesis, and he had a CRT hooked up, and he was playing it, and I remember he turned to me, he was like, "Oh man, this is kind of fun. I don't know if I want to sell this stuff now." And I was like, "Don't say that! Jesus Christ, that's the last thing I want to hear. You're killing me."
You put in a copy of T2, the arcade game, to show him light guns are shit.
Just to make sure you knew.
Yeah,
but, I remember
you don't want to be killing me.
I remember specifically asking him, I was like, "So why don't you have any Nintendo stuff?" And he was like, I swear to God, verbatim, his reply was, "Because Mario is a fucking pussy." That's what he said. That's what he said. So, I get there and I'm looking through stuff and I find the Spider-Man. It's complete, everything. I'm like, okay, I don't care what the rest of the shit is, but I still have the video on my old computer. I'm going to have to get it off sometime and upload it. I remember I got a Sega Saturn system, Genesis system, a Sega CD system, a 32X system, box controllers for all of them, box systems for all of them. I remember on the Saturn, I got Guardian Heroes, In the Deep, like a whole ton of other, like really, like Earthworm Jim for Sega Saturn.
Guardian Hero is worth a bunch by itself.
Yeah, I mean, even at the time. And so, I mean, the dude even gave me the shelves for the games. Is the magnitude of this deal.
The shelves.
Yeah, I bought the shelves with it.
Oh, the shelves that the games were just sitting on?
Yeah, he was like, "You want to take the shelves too?" And I was like, "Fuck yeah!" So
you fit that in your car?
We'll get to that in a minute too. It ties in with the having $0 things. It ties in with the having no money thing. So, but I'm looking through the games. 2 copies of Truxton, 2 copies of Gunstar Heroes, the Punisher. I mean, pretty much every uncommon Genesis game you can think of, Castlevania, Contra, anything like that. And there was some sealed stuff too. I remember specifically there was a sealed Mighty Morphin Power Rangers on Sega CD. There was a sealed what's that game on Sega CD? Something Dragon.
Rise of Dragon?
Might have been Rise of the Dragon, something like that. That was sealed. And I remember asking him where he got all this stuff. He was like, I bought out all the rental stores in the 90s around the area. Wow. He was like, I paid probably like $1 or less for everything. And I'm like, wow. So, yeah, and I mean, he had Master System stuff too, I think. I mean, he had everything. Sega Dreamcast, all that. And I remember I was like, I didn't want to insult him. I didn't know if he knew what it was worth. I was like, do I offer him $50? I mean, and still, at this point, I still don't have any money, so I shouldn't be making an offer anyway. But for some stupid reason, I go, how's $200 sound? Again, no money to pay for this. And he's like, that sounds great. And I'm like, oh my God, okay, well, now what the hell am I supposed to do? So somehow, some way, my grandma was with me. She was waiting in the car. And I went up to her and I was like, look, I don't really know how to explain this. And I know you would say no, but I'm kind of demanding that you give it to me right now or we're going to have a problem. I was like, you've got to give me $200 right now or we're going to have an issue.
Shut up, you old bag. Just
hand over the wallet, old hag. But for some reason, she had just gone to the bank that morning and conveniently took out $200. Don't know how that happened at all. And she gave it to me, and I paid him, and he was helping me load it into the car. So here's the problem: it didn't fit. It was like 45 bags of video games, plus systems, plus shelves, and my grandma's tiny ass 2010 Elantra, thing small as fuck. I remember that ride home was so uncomfortable because I had to pile up the trunk, stacked all the boxes in the back, and then I had to lay awkwardly with the shelves on me the whole ride home because you don't get them in the car. And it was a horrible because it was like a 45-minute ride home, and I was like, it's worth it.
I had a similar story that when we were moving, there was no room for me except for underneath this lazy boy or couch that was laying like this. Yeah. I had to lay down underneath it for an hour.
Yeah. So I debate if that's my best find ever. In terms of quantity and value, yeah, I would probably say so, especially at the price of shit is now, like the Punisher. I gave that game away for free. It wasn't worth anything. That game.
Sorry. I was gonna say something.
The professional podcast.
I can't remember what it was.
It was about the Punisher. If I had to bet.
Did it have the tattoo?
No, it did not have the tattoo. It
okay.
never has the
tattoo thing, and obviously, but there's a tattoo, press-on tattoo thing that you can get in that game.
That reminds me of the Captain America game that has the pin.
Yeah. But
so that game, nowadays, I used to have a copy of that game. It was complete sans the tattoo, obviously. That's a $400, $300.
Well, and I remember specifically at that time, I'm not joking, I remember looking it up. It was like $15. So I was like, is
that right? Did you look it up wrong?
No, that game was worthless back in the day. No one cared about that game.
Hmm.
So my buddy Eric wanted it, the one that got me the Wayne's World in Florida. So I just fucking gave it to him. And I remember specifically, Tyler ended up with one of the Truxtons because I had a manual.
I just got the manual from you.
Yeah,
I had a boxing game.
Or maybe that's what it was. Maybe I just gave you the manual out of one of them. But I mean, it was like 45 bags of video games, man. And it's like ingrained in my memory.
Too bad Sam's not here. I bet he has some great stories.
Earthbound strategy guide in the trash on a street curb.
Yeah.
I mean, what the hell is that? Sealed Mario 3 at a garage sale for $1 with no other video games. Come on. So that's debatably my best find ever, but I've got another one that happened recently. Tyler knows about it. Rob knows about it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's actually kind of two deals. So, well, it is because the North Carolina thing. I'm going to talk about it. So, when was this? Like 2 months ago, probably.
Yeah, about that.
Probably about 2 months ago.
Yeah.
So I'm looking
kind of blends together nowadays. I don't really remember.
Yeah, I haven't left my house in 3 months. But so I'm looking on Facebook Marketplace, and I always have my range set to farthest, which is 100 miles, just in case there's something worth driving 100 miles for, right?
Well, and you will. will.
Well, yeah, I will. And dude,
I won't, but you will.
I would drive to Colorado if you told me there was a sealed Samson for $1 right now, guaranteed. I would leave. Flight leaves tomorrow morning. But yeah. So I was looking on Facebook Marketplace, and this lady had listed. It was so random. It was, in fact, I have them. Okay. What you do with them? Now I'm not gonna be able to find them for the videos. Damn it. Well,
not prepared.
No, not prepared. Well. But it was just a bunch of manuals, and it was like, but it was good manuals. It was like, just lost my train of thought. Oh, it was like Cybernator, Wolfenstein 3D.
Wasn't it ruined or something though?
Yeah. So pretty much all of them had some to a lot of water damage. Like Super Metroid is pretty much garbage. You might as well throw it in the trash, to be honest. But she had like such a random assortment of games. So she had just the box manual and every insert for Link to the Past. She had every insert for R-Type, Super R-Type. Same thing for Prince of Persia, which is not the most common game. And Star Fox, I think. And then she had Street Fighter 2 complete and Jurassic Park complete. And loose, she had what was it? I think it was something really common for the Tetris Attack, maybe. But then just in the picture for no reason, Mega Man 7. And I'm like, all right. So, I message her because it's listed for $20. I'm like, holy fucking shit, $20. So, of course, I message her and I say, look, I know I live pretty far away, but if you can hold it, I'm guaranteed to be there. I'll leave right now. She's like, well, I had a deal to meet up with a guy tomorrow. And I was like, of course, I'm like, whatever, that's fine. So, I was just, at that point, I was going to leave it alone. I didn't really care. Did I really feel like driving 100 miles anyway? No. So, like 10 minutes after that, I'm sitting there doing something else, and she sends me another message, and she's like, some guy just offered me 40, and this guy just offered me 80. And I'm like, oh, yeah, the Sharks are trying to fucking screw everybody so no one gets anything. So I just took a shot. I was like, look, I'll give you $100 for it. I'll come pick it up. If you take it, that's great. If not, sell it to one of them. And she took it because she was like, the other people would not stop harassing her, like spamming her to sell it to them. And then I remember she told me when I got there, like they messaged her saying, oh, fuck you, we're reporting you. You're ripping us off for selling it to somebody else. This, that. But I'm like, y'all were doing the same shit.
Yeah, exactly.
So fuck y'all.
So was this a full 100 miles?
It was exactly 100 miles. So it was in Elizabeth City, North Carolina. It was at the first Walmart off the highway. Lady was really, really nice. Kind of an older lady. I asked her where she had got it. She said it was just stuff her son left at home. And I was like, well, that's a really random assortment. And I was like, you don't happen to have the box for Mega Man, do you? Like, I'll give you another $100 if you got that too. I was like, Jesus Christ. But okay, so once again, we're talking about I have no money. I paid $100 for it. That was all the money I had, literally. That's it.
I drove 100 miles with nothing in my wallet. I have no money.
Yeah. I mean, I had enough to pay for gas there and back, and to pay for the deal. That was it. So fast forward the next day, and I'm already like, wow, I got Mega Man 7. I've never had that game. I'm looking on Facebook again, and there's another post from North Carolina, 100 miles away, on the opposite side, down in somewhere outside like Rocky Mount, maybe a little bit past Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And it was about an hour and a half to get down there. So the title literally said game stuff. And it was an old guy, so I knew he had no idea what he got. So of course I'm messaging him, and it's funny. So he had it listed at 200. Again, I don't have any fucking money. Somehow I muster up my grandfather to give me $150. So I'm haggling this guy down too, which is hilarious. I was like, I'll give you $150 and I'll come right now. He's like, okay, that's fine. So I drive all the way down and get lost because I can't find a stupid house because the GPS didn't work. And I show up, and this dude is living in a shithole. Like, he's living in an RV. He's living in an RV in a trailer.
Down by the river.
Yeah, in a trailer park. Disgusting as shit. And so when I get there, he's like, well, I had like 7 other offers while you were on the way here, but I said nope because I'm a good Southern guy with hospitality. And I was like, and this guy had a Confederate flag and a gun, so. But I was like, all right, well, thanks. So anyway, so in the picture that he had posted, I could see a Sega Genesis system. I could see Sequest DSV, which nobody cares about. I could see Star Trek, and I could see this. I could see this, and I didn't know if it had the game, if it was just I didn't care if it was just a fucking manual for that bitch, honestly. So of course, when I get there, he had it all packed up, and he's like, and of course, I probably looked like an idiot, but like I had to find this first. And I'm like digging. He's like, you looking for something? I was like, yeah, just making sure it's all in here. And he puts it on the fucking bottom, of course. So everything's stacked on top of it. I was like, yeah, of course. Why wouldn't he fucking do that? But I mean, overall, it's in. It's in as good a shape as you're going to get for this game.
That's really good shape. I
mean, it has a little crease on the top right there.
Now, does that slide out? Is that one of those games?
Yeah, it's a card. Well, that's why it's so hard to get in good condition. It's also a cardboard box.
Well, some of them open like on a flap. Is that one that slides? Like that's a slip cover?
No, this one slides.
Okay, all right.
But I'll open it here. I hate even opening it. It makes me nervous.
Yeah, don't do anything crazy now.
Oh, and I just took off $400 worth of the value. The cartridge exploded. So when I opened it, I saw the manual, but it was folded in half. And I was like, please, please, please tell me I can get this fixed. And, I mean...
Wow, it doesn't even look like it has a crease.
I mean, you're not going to get a whole lot better than this. I mean, I'm going to go on record and say right now, this has to be in the top condition of anyone on YouTube that has this game. It has to be in the upper end. Because I'm getting ready to get the cartridge out here in a minute. Oh, and I can't get the manual back in.
He's just bragging, Tyler.
He's stressing me. That's what he's doing.
Yeah, well, I'm stressing myself right now.
I can't get the manual in.
Let me get the cartridge.
No, so that's not a slipcover. That's just like so I was asking if it was like Sonic and Knuckles is a good example. Where
no. Yeah, this one just flips open at the top.
I didn't know that.
All right, so here is the cartridge. There is not a fucking scratch.
Reproduction.
I mean, it's shiny as fuck.
That's a reproduction.
And I have tested it. I do know for a fact that it works. I played it. Didn't like it. Which is probably even more upsetting to Tyler why I won't sell it to him. Because I don't even like the game. But that wasn't the only... okay.
This just cracks me up.
So, okay, Crusader of Senti, for anybody who doesn't know, arguably the rarest Genesis game.
Up there with Musha?
Like outside of, like that bicycle game that's like exceedingly fucking rare. So there was one other gem in there, which I did not know was worth anything when I bought it. Apparently Theme Park, which was also pretty mint condition. I mean, there were other commons. I got Skitchin and the commonest... The most common Genesis game other than F-22, Miss Pac-Man. And
even Skitchin's got
Skitchin 10, 15, even Lion King 10, 15. But $150. I mean, just for Crusader of Senti, that game's like $600. I would have drove there and paid that just for that. But I remember asking the guy, like, where'd he get it? Because, he was like, yeah, I got one guy coming to buy brake calipers off that truck. I got one guy coming to buy a lawnmower from me over there. This dude's coming to get a weed eater in like 2 hours. And he's like, yeah, I buy and sell storage units. And I was like, where are these around here? Like, and God forbid the guy that had that stuff in storage goes back, he'd be heartbroken.
Yeah.
My God. But, not as much quality as the other one, but I mean, this is the rarest game I've definitely ever had. Spider-Man Web of Fire is still pretty rare too, but I would say this is rarer than that.
I think I'm gonna let you go next, Tyler. Because I'm gonna finish it off with mine and then go back to Hunters after that.
I was gonna say I don't know though, because I know for a fact they only made, I think, 2,000 copies of Spider-Man.
Okay.
So feel free to go ahead.
Yeah, I'll be quick. I've got two. So the first one is I thought it was the Facebook Marketplace, but I suppose there's a chance that it could have been a Craigslist deal. I couldn't find the communication, so I don't know for sure. But anyway, it was based on a wanted ad, I think, which I had them on both Facebook and Craigslist. So I don't know which. And lady messages me, says she's got a Sega CD, some games, and a Super Nintendo, which is great. I mean, it sounds good so far. I remember I was at an Applebee's with some friends. It was
none of my stories have good details like this.
Yeah, it was.
Wait. So you're telling me you're not in the mood for details? You listen to me.
I'm just saying my stories just don't have these kind of details.
Yeah, it was a cold night, about 35 degrees, and it was so we were at Applebee's later in the day, after 9 o'clock probably, and she sends a picture of what she's got, and lo and behold, not only is it a Super Nintendo with games like Final Fantasy 2 and 3, but it's also a Sega CD X, which is the combo with the combo system.
Oh, I forgot about that. They added to my list here.
So it's a Sega CDX, which is quite hard to get, pretty difficult to find. I would say they're pretty reliable. So most of the time when you find them, they do work. But
I was going to say they're not known for being failed.
I think the lenses do occasionally have distributed errors, or a cartridge port might go out. But in general, I think they're pretty good.
Everyone works except for
I might add mine right onto your story there, Tyler.
That's fine, because
it'll fit.
Yeah. So anyway, we start. She sends the picture of the CDX and the Super Nintendo, and Super Nintendo's got all the hookups and what have you, and so does the CDX, which is actually very important that you have the right power adapter.
Yeah, I've heard that if you get the wrong one, it'll just totally fry it.
It's the only. There's one at the time. There was one replacement, and it was a universal power adapter for.
There's like a 0.1 amp difference between the Genesis 2 and the Sega
It's
CDX
the
adapter.
voltage. It's
like it's such a tiny amount. I don't know my voltages, but
the voltage is I think the CDX is 9.5 and Genesis I believe is 9, and so that was important because it can cause different currents in the especially disc-based system.
Well, it's not running at
some people on the internet say they've never had an issue using their Genesis power.
To me, it just wasn't
well. It's a case of like they say you can use the Genesis adapter for what, the TurboGrafx,
or the NES adapter.
Like some people say they've done it for years and it's fine. Other people say don't, it'll fry it immediately. So,
I mean, anyway, so it did have it. Everything was good. But it had a handful of games too, and the games is really half the story. So I don't remember everything that was in there, but I know Sonic CD was there, and they're all disc only, which is kind of a bummer. So it was Sonic CD. It was the red version, I believe, which is the the pack-in.
Yeah, I think that's the pack-in version.
And had Lunar 1, Earthworm Jim Special Edition, Popful Mail, and frankly, I cannot remember what else.
Yeah, I'm almost positive you got Lunar 2 too.
Well, I did get Lunar 2, but I didn't know that. Right, remember? So
that's right.
So we strike up the deal. I think the price ended up being $180, and for both lots, which is extremely good considering a CDX alone, the value there. And we go to pick up the lot, and I open the disc tray, and inside the disc tray is Lunar 2. So the deal got even better.
Really, I would have been like, Jesus Christ.
What did you pay for the CDX itself?
Well, I bought it
part of the deal.
Yeah, it was just part of the. So with the Super Nintendo and everything, I think it was like $180. CDX, the games, the Super Nintendo, the games, everything, which is very good. In that case, I cannot remember. I think I sold everything. I don't think anything that was in there was anything I wanted to keep.
Well, you already had a CDX.
I had a CDX. Yep. I thought about keeping Popful Mail, but I wanted a complete copy. And I played the game and I thought it was kind of okay, not worth keeping. Little did I know years later I would buy one, but anyway, so that was a good deal, and I don't have anything I don't think left from that lot anymore.
Oh, I mean, that's my life.
I wanna add to your story that I was on my way home from work, and there was a garage sale right on the way home.
Where was this garage sale? Do you remember?
It was off Ridge Road.
Oh, okay.
And it was up one of those roads that go up on a hill.
Yeah.
And that was a Sega 32X.
And Rob had no money.
Sega CDX. I had no money, but no, they had a Sega CDX for $1. $1.
Yeah, the funny part is my Sega CDX that I had before I bought that lot was also $1 at a flea market. So that's.
And,
so I guess I'm just gonna be.
I didn't know what it was at the time. I knew what a Sega Genesis was.
What's this?
I didn't know
Sega
what a
CD player.
Yeah, so I was like, it says Sega on it. It's $1. I'm buying it. So I go home, find out what it is and what it does, and it's like, wow.
And you're probably like, oh my god, I just hit the jackpot.
This is what caused my my retro gaming collecting. It was this. I started buying all the old Genesis games.
Was that just the fuel that you needed right there?
It was. And then I bought the Intellivision, and it all went from there. But it did have a problem with the laser lens, not reading some... well, I don't know if it was the laser lens. It wasn't playing some Genesis cartridges.
Yeah, it had some audio issues, didn't it?
And Sonic CD, there was an audio issue.
Weird.
But it played everything else just fine.
I know, that's weird.
If it wasn't for that CDX, I don't know if I would have done this boom into retro gaming. I don't know.
I mean,
it's hard to say.
He'll probably never see this video. I don't care. I was going to say, hell, we'd probably be sitting here with Zach Grant instead.
You were actually the person, Rob, who taught me how to burn Sega CD games. I remember that. Yeah.
Really?
Called ISO Burn or whatever that app.
I remembered when my old roommate had a Saturn. I was finding out how to burn Saturn games.
You know, the thing was, though, I could never get the audio to work I could always get the game to play and the game effects just fine, but the music
Oh
would
no,
never.
I said that wrong. It wasn't his Saturn. It was his Dreamcast. Learn how to burn Dreamcast games.
Yeah.
I was okay. Yeah, for a second I was like, wait, did he say Saturn? And then I was like, when did Rob's roommate have a Saturn?
He did have a Saturn. He did have a Saturn.
Oh,
But-
he did have. He did have one.
Oh, yeah, but that's another story altogether. So,
Yeah.
okay, back to you, Tyler.
Yeah, so that was a good deal. And then my last one throughout this entire thing, I believe. Yeah, it is. So there's this game store from the town I grew up in. There's a game store the town over, which throughout the year, they actually had two stores about 15 minutes apart from each other. They were pretty good.
Are they gone now?
They are not. No, they're still there. They've combined into a single store, but they're still around.
What store is it?
It was called Game On.
Game On.
Where's it at?
Yeah. What's that?
Where's it at?
It's in Davison.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Have I been there?
Yeah, we did. Remember they wanted like $10 a piece for Shark on Intellivision? Remember that?
That's the one with the big bends.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
So-
I was so mad at that place.
$10 for Shark. $10 for Shark. I just got a
I
diner
wanna-
over there for $2.
I want to make a comment about that. They have these bins with the games with no prices on them, and they make you do the work to dig out the games, and then you take them up to the counter so they can look them up. Tell you what they're worth.
Like well, like if I'm digging through this for you, I want a discount or free.
Yeah.
That really pissed me
Like
off.
because like
go ahead.
I was gonna say, I mean, let's be honest, at game stores, they're not selling Atari games. They can't even give them away. Stores around here don't even buy Atari stuff.
So in general, that's how that store works. It doesn't matter if it's in a bin or it's in the case or behind the counter. You ask them, they look up the value, and that's it. And I don't like it. I think it's a bad way to do it. But
any game store that doesn't put the prices on the shit, I will never go to again.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of it. It makes it very inconvenient because you want to know the prices of say 30 things. Then you got to go ask the guy to look
and then,
up
then
30.
you know he's going to look him up, so you know what he's going to say anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like I already know what I'm going to get. I'm not interested.
The store is still around, and I do frequent it once in a while, not very often anymore. But because I don't really live near there anymore. But anyway, so twice though, that system of them looking up the games ended up screwing them and benefiting me. The first one I went with, it was just a random visit out there. They had a copy of Mighty Final Fight on the wall, kind of just with the regular Joe games. I asked him how much it was. He said $9.99. I promptly bought it. And that's actually a pretty good game. Years ago, I did a review of that game on the channel. It's actually pretty good. That's a good game.
Isn't it worth about $100?
Yeah, I mean it was probably around.
I don't know what it's worth now.
What game was it?
Mighty Final Fight.
Oh, Mighty Final Fight. That's right.
Yeah, for $10. So that was a great.
That's on the NES, right?
Hey, I got mine for $5.
Well, we can't all be winners. Anyway, so that they messed up there, and I don't know what happened. Maybe looked up the Super Nintendo one or whatever. The next one was even better, right? So I went there at another time, and they had a copy of Tournament Fighters on NES, the Ninja Turtles fighting game.
Really, actually, a really rare game that I think is going to go way up soon.
Yeah, you don't see it too often. The other version's dime a dozen, right? But this one is like a 93, something like that. Release.
And it's also a tournament fighter on NES with 2 buttons. So it's also a terrible, terrible game.
Yeah. So I asked them how much they wanted, and I couldn't remember what the price was, but it was about what you'd expect, right?
Yeah, at the time, I'd guess $50, $60 probably at least.
Yeah, something like that. So maybe the next time or the time after, it's still there. And I asked the guy how much they want, and I remember doing this, and not
really
not the most like, I don't want to call it ethical thing, but you know,
this is where the quote came from though that I said earlier. This is that.
Okay.
This is the quote right here.
The quote is, it's not my what was it? It's my
responsibility to know what it's worth so I don't overpay, and it's their responsibility to know what it's worth so I don't underpay.
Yeah, and that's really the truth. That's a really good quote. I can't believe I said that, quite honestly.
I know. I mean, he's a modern day Sophocles right here.
That's much better than most of the stuff that comes out of my mouth.
You mean fuckhead math is in the gym?
Yeah. So I go to the store and I ask him, hey, how much for the Ninja Turtles on NES?
Keep being kind of vague.
A little bit. So he looks at it though, and that's the thing. It's not like there was a TMNT 1 next to it.
Like it was just Tournament Fighters.
Right. So I said the Ninja Turtles. He said, "Oh, I think he pointed to it and maybe even said the name Tournament Fighters." And I thought at that point my plan was had.
You're done. You're out.
Any hope of getting this game at a good price is kaput. So I can't even remember the price that he said. I think he said $5. And
yeah, I think you said in that video it was $4.99.
Yeah, I think $4.99.
Oh no, I think it was Tyler. I think you're wrong. I'm having a memory.
Well, I know what I ended up paying, but I don't know what he quoted me.
I'm having a memory. I think there was a Turtles in front of it. I think there was Turtles 2. And then you said, "Oh no, the other one." And
you're right.
And then he was.
Man, this guy just remembers everything.
I'm a savant.
Yeah,
idiot.
No, you're right. He says this one. I said no, the other one.
And then he goes, "Oh, that was probably gonna be a little more expensive." And at that point, you're like, "Well, I'm done."
Yes, that's right.
Then he goes and looks it up, and I think he says like it was either $4.99 or $9.99. So either way, you're getting it.
That is how it happened. You're right. I remember that now. So anyway, the store also had a deal. I think it was buy two get one free. So I ended up buying 2 games that were worth more than $9.99, and I got the Ninja Turtles for free. So I mean, ever since then, what they're actually doing now,
what's that game worth? Tournament Fighters.
It's
40, 50?
Right now for over a cartridge, over 100 for a cartridge, price for a complete copy. Yeah.
But here's the thing though, is that now that store has prices on the expensive games, but some of the like lesser whatever, they'll still look up.
Let me reword that. What was that game worth a few years ago?
Maybe $70 loose.
Yeah,
because I feel like I may have accidentally passed that up on eBay one time.
You did. I remember.
He's going to tell you how it happened.
And there he was, April 15th. It was a wintry night. He had just missed it. A Tournament Fighters. Oh.
So
that's
it. My turn.
That one. Yeah, okay. I'm out.
Okay. My next. I'll try to rush through these because there's so many. Even though there's some good stories here, though. It was a Sega Genesis and a Sega CD lot, and there was some good games in there. I don't remember all the games, and I don't think Hunter does either.
No, I can't remember all of them offhand.
I know there was a Captain America.
Yeah, I remember that.
Didn't have the pin, but I think it was complete in box. Batman.
Was there a Superman in there?
There may have been.
The Death and Return of Superman? I feel like that was in there too.
There was Devilish.
Yeah, Devilish.
I don't know about the Genesis, but the Sega CD was complete in the box.
I don't think the Genesis had the box.
And there was Musha. Complete in the box. And I don't know if he showed pictures of it being complete or not.
He did not. You didn't know if it had a manual.
And there was more games in the lot. And it was about $280 for the lot. But I was like, well, Musha's worth that alone. The Sega CD complete in the box, that was probably worth $200.
I'm sure you got $200 for that.
Devilish, 30, 40. I
mean, you made money before selling the Musha.
Yeah. I don't remember what else, but I know there was more games in that lot.
Oh, yeah, me too. But I mean, Musha.
My next one there was a bunch of common N64 games in a lot, and one game that was not common, and that was Sculptor's Cut. And that was $115. I'm not even sure if I knew what Sculptor's Cut was going for at the time. But I'm like, well, I've never owned the game, and I'm probably getting it for less than what it's worth. So
yeah.
Even if it isn't the best deal in the world, I'm buying it.
I mean, 115 even then it was probably a pretty good deal.
I think I only got like 200 and something for it. I think.
But you had that. But you can finally say you had one.
Yeah. The next one was an N64 lot. It had the Banjo-Kazooie, Banjo-Tooie. It had all the great games. You had your Smash Brothers, Mario 64, possibly both Zeldas.
Probably. I mean, Christ, a lot had everything.
Yeah, it had everything. Had a system, and it had. Tyler probably could describe it better than I can. It's a chest with Nintendo characters on it. Mario, Zelda.
It's like a toy chest.
Yeah,
Toy
it's
chest.
yeah. It's
That,
the like
the
NES
chest
era.
itself. The chest itself was probably worth about $100.
Yep. Yeah, those are. It's like there's a tournament. There a Ninja Turtles one too. It's just a toy chest. It's white, and each side of it has different Nintendo paintings on it. And in fact, I think there's 2 different versions, and one of the panels on one of them is different than the other. Like I think one has Mario 3.
I remember a point to this auction that doesn't even matter is that it was after midnight. Because it was late at night. I was getting ready for bed.
Oh, I thought you were going to say it was 2 minutes to midnight.
Yeah, we're just naming Eric Clapton and Iron Maiden songs in our things now.
Oh, he's my cousin. He's my cousin. Pally, you didn't know.
And I paid $85 for that lot. So.
Wow, $85.
Okay, now here is the lot that probably got me into wanting to score lots. This was the catalyst right here. This was the GameCube lot.
I was wondering if you're going to mention this because I was thinking about it.
Real quick, right before you say that, I just want to say we have to give a shout out to Andy because he's the one that told me about the eBay feed.
Talking about Minister Michigan, Andy?
Yeah. He was the one that told me about the feed, and then I told you and Rob. And then Rob was like, oh my God.
I will just say this, that at the time, I didn't know crap about GameCube and what GameCube games were worth. And I unfortunately had to ask them if this was a good deal and if I should buy it. And Hunter thought about stealing it from me.
I really did. I swear to God, I almost did it.
Okay, this lot had a bunch of the best GameCube games.
Yeah.
But it wasn't until it got here, until it got to my place, I unboxed it.
You were just catching a glimpse.
Through the games, there was 3 sealed games in the lot, and these guys are freaking out.
Was it Sonic 2 or something?
Yeah,
it was Sonic Adventure 2,
yeah,
Monkey Ball 2, and Mario Sunshine sealed.
Wow.
It had all the Resident Evil games, all of them.
Yeah, it had all 6 of those. It had
I probably sold those for like $150.
I think it had Tales of Symphonia.
It probably had Melee.
It
probably had the Zeldas.
It might have had Eternal Darkness.
Oh, that sounds right. It had Eternal Darkness.
Because I remember every game in there. I was like, "That's a winner. That's a winner. That's a winner." And you're debating for like 5 minutes. Is this a good deal?
I didn't know.
I know, but I can't believe nobody bought it.
Yeah, because all that time went by. It had a Game Boy player sealed. There was some cracks in the plastic, but it was sealed.
You know, after I thought about stealing it from you, I was about to just buy it anyway and be like, Jesus Christ, he's not going to buy it. I'll buy it, and then if he fucking wants it, I'll ship it to him. Christ. I was like, we can't see it forever.
I don't know what else was in the lot. Maybe, did it have Waybirds? I don't know.
Probably.
I know it had a system.
Yeah.
And all that I paid $80 for.
Jeez.
But at the time, that was my best deal of all time.
My God, it makes me sick to think about.
It might be your best deal.
Well, speaking of that, well,
I don't know, because that Sega CD lot was like $1,000 profit. So
I'm issuing my third executive
it's
decision
hard
of
to
the
say.
day. I'm making my third executive decision of the day. I have to throw in 2 of my friends' stories into this video because they're funny.
Go ahead.
You want me to finish mine out? I only got a few more.
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. I was scrolling down eBay early in the morning, and I went farther than I usually do, because I usually, if I scroll down too far, it's like people have picked this over by now.
What is this? The Seinfeld run out of gas?
So I'm scrolling back hours and hours worth of games here, and I see a listing for Mega Man X, but the picture is Mega Man 7. I don't know what I paid for it, but we'll just say I probably paid the Mega Man X price.
Which would be probably about $20.
Probably. That was unbelievable.
That's
7 showed up.
My next one was I was in a game store in Knoxville with my old pal Ivan, and they had some Intellivision games on the shelf, and one of them was a complete in box Turbo, which
Pretty rare game.
they didn't have a price on it, and the guy working there that day didn't know what it was worth either.
Did he probably looked at it and said, "IntellvisionDude, what the hell is that?"
Well, I'm not sure if he wanted to sell it to me because I didn't have a price. He may have wanted to hold off, but they had a buy two get one free sale. So I picked I think it was 2 Genesis or 2 Super Nintendo games off the shelf, and he let me have the Turbo for free because he didn't know how to even ring it up.
Wow. I'm still upset about that Turbo I bought at the beach, and I messaged y'all like, "Oh my god, I just got Turbo on the television." Rob's like, "That's for fucking ColecoVision." I was like, "Are you fucking kidding me?" No.
My next one is actually a little bit before that. I think it was 2010. It was in 2010. I just got done playing Paper Mario Thousand Year Door, and which I thought was like the best game I ever played my entire life. So I was asking people on a forum for suggestions for similar RPGs. Nothing too serious, fun stuff like Paper Mario. There was a whole list of games, plus someone mentioned Spike McBain. So I go right to eBay immediately.
It's not a game anybody brings up, by the way, ever.
Right. So I go to eBay immediately. There's a copy right there, loose, $8.98.
God Almighty!
And even then, I told the guys I just picked up a copy of Spike McBain. They're like, "That game's worth like a lot more than what you just paid."
Wow!
It's like, well, how long was that sitting there?
I
wasn't going through an eBay feed. I had to look it up.
I've never even seen a copy of that game anywhere, ever.
That's a game I've wanted to try.
Rob loves it.
My last story is actually tied to Tyler. I was on eBay again, and Castlevania Symphony of the Night shows up for $1 with free shipping. The guy screwed up, and actually, he screwed up, is what it was. He just screwed up. But he sends me a message and says, "I'm a man of my word. You know, I stick to what I set prices at. I screwed up, but I'm going to send it to you. $1 free shipping."
Funny, I did that one time. I had a PS2 lot that had like Dragon Ball Z Budokai Tenkaichi 3, Marvel vs. Capcom 2. I just wanted to fucking put it together and buy it now, whatever. Accidentally fucking did 99 cents for the buy now. So of course it sold immediately. And it sold as soon as I was going to change it. I was like, here we fucking go. So I had to message them and tell them I was canceling it. And of course, they were like, blah, 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 this, that. I'm going to report you this, that. And I was like, okay, well, I'm still going to have my games, though. I don't think eBay's going to come in here and be like, you must send them.
But the end of my story is that since Tyler's birthday was coming up and we were finding stuff for him, I decided to give him the $1 copy of Symphony of the Night.
Yeah, I still have that.
Which now I need back because I had to sell my copy financial reasons.
All right, let's think here. Rob gets Earthbound for a birthday present. Tyler gets Dracula X, Symphony of the Night, and Yoshi's Story. And I ain't got shit.
I didn't know you had a birthday.
Sometimes I like to help the humans.
Hey, what's on your head there?
What's on my head there?
Free pair of headphones.
Oh, right, that $30 pair of headphones
which
from
is
Rob.
the same brand as I got here, but different
color.
color.
All right, well, Rob, when I took you to Michigan last year, I also gave you Thousand Year Door on the GameCube for free. So, you paid me for half of that. Where's the other half of my gift? I told you I wanted to go to Mendy's.
My mother gave it to you.
That's the deal.
Okay, I guess I was going to mention Earthbound, but I'll mention it anyway. I didn't get that much for it when I sold it. I didn't plan on selling it originally, but it was on eBay. It was on a Canadian seller for one thing.
I remember that.
He had it underpriced as it was. Plus, when you convert the Canadian dollar, that like almost cut it like $100 off.
And this was complete, right?
Late in the box.
Yeah.
Scratching the Snickers.
Yeah. So Canadian conversion, you're already knocking off like 100.
He had it listed for what, $4.99 maybe?
It was for something, which even that was kind of low.
I know, maybe it was $4.50. I know after the conversion, it came out to like $3.80, $3.90,
which is a really good deal.
At the time, Earthbound was going for $800 to $1,000 complete, I would say.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
So that was a great deal. I only got like $600 for it when I sold it, but I put it up for auction and it had a tear on the box, and
I sold my complete Earthbound to buy an Xbox One, and I only got fucking, I think, $390 for it because the game was down so bad.
Okay, I'm out of stories, so if Hunter has any more,
so I want to make a quip on two of my buddies' stories because they're both equally kind of ridiculous. So I have this friend named Joe. He was like the first guy I ever met when I was collecting. He lives around here.
My buddy Bob Sacamano.
My friend Bob Sacamano. So we have this game store in Richmond here called it used to be a Play and Trade, now it's a Bits and Pixels, which is, I guess they're just independent now, whatever. So this was probably back in like 2011, 2012. So he went in there and he bought a Saturn, right? Whatever a Saturn console cost at the time, $50 probably. He gets home and he opens the disc thing, and Saturn Bomberman is sitting in the system.
Oh, nice.
I mean, even disc only. That game is still really expensive.
That's a really great game.
I know. Everyone says it's like the best Bomberman game. So that one was pretty ridiculous. And then, got one that kind of was like you, Rob. So my buddy Jesse, like my best friend that I hang out with all the time. He was going to the flea market. This is before I knew him. He had just started collecting. And a lady had a whole thing of GameCube games, all sealed, every one of them, like $2 each. He didn't know anything. He was like, the only one I bought was Four Swords. But he told me, he was like, I remember that she had Sunshine, Sonic Adventure, Resident Evil, something or other, like every good GameCube game.
There was Four Swords in the big box?
Yeah, but it was funny though. It was literally another case of I have no money. That's a common theme here.
I mean, it happens.
So there's two. There's just those two real quick. So the first one I want to tell, it involves a Tengen Tetris. And this day was pretty crazy. Before I had got the Sega score, this would have been my best find ever. I'm on Craigslist. It's like 11 a.m. and there's a post that says NES stuff. NES stuff.
So your good scores have the word "stuff" in the title. Sega stuff, video game stuff.
That's what it said.
Yeah. There's a lot of stuff in Virginia. I don't know what to say.
No, there's a lot of stuff in the UP apparently.
That's another story.
So I'm looking at the post, and it just says like NES stuff. It didn't specify any games or pictures, but it was only listed for like $50, and it said like 30 games. So I was like, okay, whatever it is, I'll take it. And the guy drives. I meet him. There's a middle school that's like right. I can see it from my house through the woods. I meet him there. He pulls out a top loader for one, which I didn't know. And I'm pretty sure he had like, Mario 1, 2, 3, Zelda 1 and 2, that and the other. There's one Tengen game in there, and I seriously was like, what are the odds that this is Tengen Tetris if I flip it over? I was like, it's going to be RBI Baseball. I'm telling you. Nope. Fucking Tengen Tetris. And I'm pretty sure I paid like $50 for it.
That's great.
So that same day, I'm on Craigslist again. This time it's like 2 or 3 in the afternoon. And again, it just says like video game lot or something, or like something along those lines.
Stuff.
And yeah, so
Shantae.
So they were acting so weird through email, and I can tell why. They were fucking crackheads, straight up. They were selling this to me to go buy crack. I'm not kidding. They had to. They had to.
Whatever gets you a good deal, I guess.
So, yeah. So, So again, they don't tell me anything. They tell me some of the games. I remember she said there was like a Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo in there.
When you got home, did you have to brush off the powder?
I remember, like, for some reason, I remember there was like RC Pro-Am, some commons or whatever. So again, so she shows up at my house. She delivers it. It's another top loader.
You let a crackhead meet you at your house?
Yeah, I was home alone. I couldn't go anywhere.
I was home alone. I had nothing.
Dude, I met a guy for a Genesis Model 3 at 4 a.m. in my driveway.
Jesus.
But,
And you saw aliens in your backyard.
I did. That's true, too. Twice. I've seen 2 aliens. Should we save that for the next show? It's Conspiracy Hour with Derek J. Holmes.
Cryptozoology sightings.
But, yeah, so lo and behold, she pulls out another top loader. And at that point, I'm just like, there's no way this can get any better, right? Well, no, it keeps getting fucking better. She pulls out all the N64 games. Every game has the box. 1080, Cruising USA, Mario 64, Kirby 64. I remember specifically Bass Hunter 2000 and Bass Hunter 99 or whatever it is, those two, because I sold one of them to Cooper.
Are those hard to get?
No, they're just games he needed, and I didn't really care. Plus, all the boxes are like mint. And so all those had the boxes, and I was like, okay, sweet. I reach into the bag with the Super Nintendo stuff, complete Mario RPG.
Wow.
I'm like, oh my god! I'm like, can it get any better? Well, it couldn't get any better. But there were some other Super Nintendo games in their box and some good stuff. I think I got Super Metroid. I think I got. I might have got game. I can't remember.
That's rare.
Yeah, it's called It's called IDK. So yeah, so about
Sequel
all that. So
sequel
all
to
that.
DK.
Yeah.
IDK.
So all that in one day is kind of nuts. So that's basically that one. I want to go back and talk about our old game store here. So we used to have a Play and Trade in town. It was next to Starbucks. Best store ever. Absolute best store ever. It's such a shame that they don't survive anymore. I remember going in there almost every day after school. It was crazy because they always had new shit. I remember one day, literally, I walk up to the glass case and there's Illusion of Gaia, complete in the box, and there's a card only for Demon's Crest. Illusion of Gaia is marked at $7.99. So on that, I was like, yeah, let's go. Demon's Crest was only marked for $9.99.
Wow.
And I was the nice guy here because I was really good friends with the manager and his family. He's a family friend. So I was like, I told him, I was like, is this the right price, dude? Like, I'm letting you know this is not right. And he's like, oh, well, we fucked up. Take it. Just take it. Just take it.
Tyler, what's the name of the store you took me to where I got some good Intellivision games?
That was Disc Replay.
Disc Replay.
That was where
I always get Disc Replay and Play and Trade mixed up, and I can never get it right.
That's where they had those damn Emerson Arcadia 2001 games that I should have fucking bought.
Well, I did get some good Intellivision games there, some uncommon stuff.
Didn't you get a diner?
Yeah, I think I did.
Yeah, you thought you got 2 of them, but it was just the one.
Yeah, I remember after that, he was like, didn't I buy 2? Tyler, can you check your car, check under the seat? Can you check in the bathroom, on top of the ceiling fan, in the door?
But I went back there with Tyler, and I got some more good uncommon games there, though.
Well, I specifically remember those Emerson Arcadia games because the boxes were so unique, and I had never seen them in person, but I knew what they looked like, and you two had no fucking idea what I was talking about.
I have a side story. They have an ECS there, a television ECS, but they have it split up. The keyboard and the part that the keyboard connects to, and they both have them priced separately.
Wow. Well,
and I've been trying to get them to sell it to me for the combined price of just the one, but they wouldn't do it.
If it sits there long enough, they will. But yeah, I remember, I don't know why I didn't buy them. I think the boxes were kind of rough. I'm sure they would have sold them to me for like $1, though. I mean, how long were they in there? We probably are the first person to touch those boxes in 15 years.
Yeah, that store changed around some of their stuff now, too.
Oh, did they?
Yeah, I don't even remember where the Atari games are nowadays.
Too bad they're not open. You can't go buy out their Xbox section.
Yeah.
So, how long has this video been going?
Long time.
At least 2 hours, probably.
Well, no, your portion would only be
Oh, well.
in an
Well,
hour.
yeah.
Yep,
Well,
we're about to cross the hour mark.
all right, well, I was trying to think if there was any other ones that I was like, oh, yeah, I got to tell that. Well, I'll just tell this one because it's interesting. So, at the end of my road, right at the end of this road, the main road that I pull out of, there used to be this little, I don't know, it's these little tiny buildings that people could set up in, but there's only like room for one person and a few things in there. But the guy, for some reason, really, dude, this guy was like 600 pounds. I don't know how he fit in there. And he was so sweaty all the time. Super nice guy, just really, really heavy and sweaty. And I remember I met him at the flea market, and then he was like, oh, yeah, I run one of those things down there, blah, blah, blah. And I was like, oh, I'll come by. And I remember what I bought. I bought Mega Man 3. Nothing rare, but it was, I bought Mega Man 3. Werewolf, is that the one with the cover with the werewolf going through, like, and you can see the circuit board?
Yeah, werewolf.
Yeah, I think I bought that, and I bought, oh, fuck, it's a light gun game.
Operation Wolf?
Operation Wolf, that was it. And he sold those to me for like $1. But, I don't know what happened to him. One day he closed and I've never seen him again. No offense, but he probably had a heart attack. But
That's how we should end the video, on a heart attack.
no, use that as like a teaser for the intro. Yeah, I think he had a heart attack, and then cut to the beginning. They gotta wait 2 hours to figure out what the heart attack's about.
Yeah.
Oh, well, I guess that's really about it. But I'm gonna save this joke until after we stop recording because it's not relevant to this.
Okay.
But
Cool.
I think that about wraps it up, at least for this. That we could do more of these if we think of them.
Yeah.
Or if anything else comes up, and we find something amazing.
I think I've told enough.
Yep, likewise.
Yeah, I think I've talked enough too.